All right, this is our Chapter 12 project, and with it, you are going to be acting as a doctor, and you really are having an opportunity to investigate a problem in one of your patients. And here on the screen, you can see every student, each of you will have a different patient, and you will have to do research using online resources to try and better understand the problem, and kind of in the end write up a report that will help your patient kind of understand how to better manage their issues or their complaints that they're bringing to you, and also just really kind of understand what might have been the original problem that could have led to the patient's symptoms. So as your doctor, you will be basically filling out a form, as you can see on the right side here of the slide. This is like just what you'll receive in class. Our main goals today, and the project of course will last a couple days, but this project overall, you're going to identify your patient's clinical condition based on your best understanding from research. You're going to act as not only a doctor, but really explore genetic concepts. And you're going to be trying to kind of investigate how maybe your patient's environment could have affected their issues in life. And finally, as I've said already, you're going to produce a report that's really utilizing your research to argue the role of epigenetics on your patient's symptoms. For this research project, we really focus mostly, about 90% of this project is based on using this website, learngeneticsutah.edu. And so we have it right here. Let's check it out. Learngenetics.edu, we've seen it before. It has all kinds of tiles of different areas of genetics. We are going to explore the epigenetics tile. And with most tiles, you can see that it has a lot of different areas that you can research and learn more about. This will be one of our primary areas, this tab right here, the Epigenetics tab, that we will use. Let's go back to the project kind of research paper so we can kind of see how it guides us through the website. Once we have gone to a different website and identified maybe the anxiety disorder or a stress issue you think your patient might be suffering from, you'll then begin the lower portion of this first page of the worksheet, which requires us to go again to the learngeneticsutah.edu website. Here's the following page, or your second page, that kind of guides you through your project. Our first task is to look at one of our first of 3 research sources, and that'll be an introductory video that kind of introduces you as a doctor to the idea of epigenetics. It helps you explore what it is and how your patient may have been affected by things that are occurring in the environment. For that, it would be, let's see here, the epigenome at a glance. So you can see it says introductory video. So it's these colored boxes in the corner that help kind of guide you and to know what source you're going to be using for what part of the project. The epigenome at a glance is a video. I'll hit play here just momentarily just so you can kind of see what it looks like. But it's an animation. You can see it's only a minute and 47 seconds. And you play it. You can see it has really nice quality animation. And it's narrated to give you a better understanding of the epigenetics overall. This is a general introductory video. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. But with it comes a lot of ideas that you can use to better understand the epigenetics, or the epigenetic role that's leading to your patient's symptoms. You can see that after the video, we want to define some terms, just following the box. We want to define histone, protein, and epigenome. The video will help us with that. We also want to summarize how genes potentially can be activated or silenced based on environmental experiences. So this is suggesting already that our patient, potentially their environment, has kind of influenced who they are and what's going on in their life. It hopefully or potentially can explain why it is exactly that they have particular symptoms they're uncomfortable with. In the end, you're going to summarize what the video discussed. You'll create some models representing what you saw in the video, the models that they used for what it looks like when a gene is turned on or off. And we're going to try our best to start applying some academic language or some of the specific vocab that a geneticist or a doctor would use when talking to a patient and providing research results. After the video and after this first source that we have, we continue with our research with our second source. This is an interactive explorer, so we'll look for a colored tab on the web page. So let's do that now. So we're going to go back to the general epigenetic page that concludes all the resources, and you can see here Interactive Explorer, and it's in a little red box here. So let's click on it, and it gives an overview, introduction, but mostly it's this nice animated interactive resource here. And currently we have a gene, it's called the GFP gene. That's not specific to our research, but it's an example that gives us a better idea of what might be happening in other genes for our patient. You can see it shows the gene, it shows that it's producing mRNA, and we can also see it's producing protein. That protein is been labeled with a glow-in-the-dark, so to speak, molecule, so it becomes very easy for real researchers in a lab to see a cell that has an active gene that's producing this protein. With epigenetics, the idea is how can the environment impact the gene and also impact, as a result, how much protein is produced in the cell. Remember, proteins affect your behavior, it affects how people feel, it affects how you look, everything, right? So let's just take a quick look. There's this dial here, and there's also, you can turn the sound on or off, and there's also labels. I like the labels, and it's a good reminder from chapter 11 about how DNA leads to protein. So how a specific gene produces a specific protein. And again, in this example, it's the GFP gene, which isn't involved with potentially our patient. It's just an example gene. This dial represents the environment influencing the gene. Let's say that the environment is not influencing the gene at all, that whatever's happening in your environment is not doing anything to this GFP gene. By doing that, we're going to turn it clockwise, and that's going to reduce or remove any environmental impact on the gene. If you remove the environment's influence on the gene, you can see the gene is tightly wound, and you have these pictures here. You see very little mRNA being produced, very little protein. And as a result of a lack of protein, the cell isn't glowing anymore. Again, anytime a protein is produced in this example, it has a little glow-in-the-dark dye chemically bonded to the protein, so you can actually see it through a special microscope. All right, let's turn the environmental influence on. So you turn the environment on, and you see that the gene does something different, and you now see different results. I don't want to give you too much, because this is your research, and I don't want to provide you with too much information so you can discover it on your own. All right, this is resource 2 again, right? So this is down here, the Interactive Explorer. And as a result, you're going to summarize some of your findings. You'll try to use some academic language based on the website. And you're kind of going to draw a model from your understanding of what you've seen about how the environment can signal and affect the activity of a gene, if it's on or off. All right, the last source that you're going to explore as part of your research is another Interactive Explorer, and it's on parent nurturing. It's a study of rats, and this is really a silly one. And let's go up to the website's top. Let's back it up to the general epigenetics page, and you can see right here on the right this time, in the column Epigenetics and the Environment, we have Lick Your Rats, and that's exactly what we're going to do. There's an Interactive Explorer, and we want to see basically how nurturing from a parent can potentially influence some species, and perhaps even humans, behavior in later life. What kind of mother are you? You can see from the top of the page we have a little intro and also a video of the real research that scientists have conducted studying this process of how a mother cares for its kids and how it affects the behavior of a child throughout their life. And you can see we have 2 opportunities here to investigate. We can actually pretend to be a mom, like the researchers observed, licking our rats, which is caregiving. And you can also investigate what's happening internally, what's happening at the genetic level or at the cellular level when a mom licks its babies. Very interesting. All right, for fun, I'm just going to show you this. I'm not going to literally show you what it is because I want you to be able to discover this on your own. But when you hit start, you'll pretend to be a mom and you will caregive for a baby. And afterwards, you'll get a chance to kind of see how that affects this specific gene called a GR gene, which is another gene that the website uses as an example. Let's see if I can reload this page. And we're going to go down and look at the investigation part. Let's go and just see really quickly. We'll have to also utilize this as part of our third and final source in our research. You can see it has the one we've already been to, the mom licking rats, but also shows you different areas that are impacted when a mother does caregive for its baby. You have the GR gene, you can see here. You have what's happening at the cellular level inside the brain of a baby that receives good nurturing from its mother. And you get to see here study how the mouse interacts with its environment based on how well the mother it had nurtured it. And all along the way, we have plenty of text that explains each situation on every level, from the gene itself to the cellular level. And it has audio, so we can listen as well as read the text. This is all an opportunity to better understand potentially what's happening with your patient. Again, all the resources from the epigenetics page aren't specific to your patient. Your responsibility in using these resources, you see here, specifically epigenome at a glance, your first source, your second source, gene control, and your third source, lick your rats. Your job is to take some of this information and try your best to apply it into what might have happened to your own patient. Whoops. It's going to take some creativity, but also a lot of work from each of these little tiles here to better understand what might have affected your own patient. All right, finally, once you've done all this research with those 3 different sources, you're going to produce a results argument. This is really your doctor results, something that you would share with your patient so that they can better understand what's happening in their life. But also, finally, in the end, you're going to really give them, what's your recommendation for treatment? How would you try to help these individuals? All in all, this will probably take us about 2 to 3 days. And whether you want to use in the end this sentence structure or a little closed sentence support or not, that's up to you. But all in all, you're going to go from the very first page, beginning your research. You're going to try to identify the anxiety issue that might be found in your patient. You're going to start exploring, doing research to try to better understand what might be happening with your patient. Again, all doctors have to do this. You never quite know everything about any particular situation that might be affecting a patient. So you got to do research. You have your first source, your second source, your third source here, and then again, your final doctor kind of results, what you're going to present to your patient. All right, doctors, good luck.